Yeah, see, it's recording now. So you want to warm up, want to stop and start again, or you want to warm up, or you want to go straight into it?
You can go straight into it.
Okay, well, I guess give the introduction. This is the pilot. As everybody can hear, you're going to hear it raw and uncut.
Straight from the
You want to
streets,
go
baby.
first? Yeah,
I guess so. Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your man Chucky Smiles, Young Chitterlings, the street pimp. Nah, just kidding. This is Charles, man, and basically we're just chopping up some game, man, talking about some of our favorite subjects, some real true to form, true to life subjects, and getting it in, how we do this, some good combos. So I'm not going to go on and on about who I am or what I do. It's not really that important. It's more important about the message. So that said, y'all know who Terrthom is. Hopefully y'all are on his YouTube page right now. But in case you don't know who he is, go ahead and plug, man.
You know me. I'm the dude that tried to do a manga a few years ago, and I was unsuccessful. But what had happened, I discovered designing toys. Found out that my medium was not 2D drawing, it was actually 3D, actually making something tangible. And that my drawing was just a design, for design purposes, like a tool of design. And you can find me like pretty much everywhere. If you put in Terrthom, I'm on the biggest toy blogs, Spanky Stokes and Toys Are Evil, Manning Toys. I'm on the October Toys forum, the OMFG forum. I'm pretty much kind of everywhere, a little bit everywhere. And I mainly customize toys right now. And I am working on my first production piece. So, yeah, and I'll be on YouTube. Y'all know me on YouTube, and my very straight to the point message.
Yeah, the king of the outspoken is definitely in the building. Straight up, man. Yo, so the things that I wanted to talk about for this, I guess, the pilot.
Who you are. You ain't gonna say who you are. You don't want to say who you are with you,
Man,
so
they don't care about who I am.
They don't care about who anybody is. Say who you are. Just say it for your own purposes.
Yo, all right, well, my background is in a lot of different fields, but the overarching theme would be music. I deal with artists, and I help them along in their career. I guess you could say I'm a publicist by trade. And in that I dabble in music management, and what I really want to, bring to the table is my understanding of the music game from an independent standpoint and how to kind of juxtapose that into everyday real life topics and conversations. And that's very much what the basis of what Terrthom and I are going to get into. So that's really it. That said, let's get into it. And, I was thinking about some of the stuff that we had talked about before and back channel conversations. And hey, y'all, this ain't the first time we tried to do this podcast thing, man, because this is what, number 4, 5, 6?
4 or 5. That? I think it's number 6.
Yeah, so we've definitely been trying to bring this message to you, but the mediums that we were going through were uncooperative. That's neither here nor there. But what is here and what is there is talking about the independent grind. And this is spanning from music to manga to toys to animation to whatever it is that you're doing, whatever kind of business, whatever kind of industry, the building blocks to be successful are all the same. Terrthom was talking about his manga that he was doing that it wasn't quote-unquote successful, but it was because it taught him things and he applied it into his current grind, which is toys. So looking at what you've done in the past year, 2 years, and the things that you've seen work and things that you haven't seen work, detail those, man. Get into very core lessons that you learned about being independent.
You want to know the core? What
So
is the
dreaming,
core?
yeah.
Yeah, the core of dreaming. That basically, core of dreaming has evolved to pretty much right now. Get in on the ground room floor. You have to know your industry. You have to know what is current. You have to know what is good or what is considered good or favorable or fashionable at the time. You have to know also what's timeless. It's a very careful balance of reinventing what people already know while still selling them nostalgia all the same. In most cases, you just have to put your ear to the ground and really pay attention to what your industry of choice is doing, what the current trend is, and how you can spin that trend with whatever you do and whatever style you do it. And at the same time, see, the whole point of this is, the whole core of dreaming is while you're producing stuff for the masses, but realize the one thing that to make money, the one thing that you have to realize is that you're making stuff for consumer. You're not making stuff for yourself. You're making this for somebody, a very specialized audience that is, most of the time, they're not really that hard to please if you know what they're into. And then the real game of it is, while you're developing the professional edge from doing that stuff, providing what people want, you in the background can apply that to everything that you do. And while you develop and build your own brand, which still takes years unless you get the right endorsement. It still takes years, and you just have to come into providing a service while you build your own brand, and look at it more like that. And it doesn't really compromise. You just giving the people what they want, really, honestly. And once you know what they want and how they want it, you give it to them. You make a little money, and you can take that and invest it right back into whatever production stuff. All of this stuff is culminating to my production piece. All the toys, all the customs I've sell, all the Star Wars and all the Back to the Future and Iron Man and all the other stuff I've done that's considered quote-unquote pop culture. That stuff, I can't keep it in stock. That's how I can't keep it in stock. When it hits the blogs, it just goes. And I'm constantly always having to make more stuff. So you just have to just come to that realization that it's not a compromise. You're not making this for yourself. If you're going to make this for yourself, you maintain your normal job and realize that unless you get the right endorsement or you just get lucky, that people are not going to know who you are, or they're not going to want to know who you are because you come from nowhere. You seemingly fell from the sky. So it's best to, get in on the ground room floor, as I say, by basically pillaging pop culture in most cases with your style, or while you develop your style.
You're absolutely right about that.
That's what you cut your teeth in. I'm not trying to cut you off, but that's where you cut your teeth. You cut your teeth on providing that service. So when you get to your stuff, you already know what you're doing. I'm done. I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you were talking.
No, it's all good. And just to go along with what you're saying about being able to build a movement, building a movement, especially in the music game, isn't as cut and dry as people think it is, but there is a definite formula to that. And the same goes with what you're saying about how an artist needs to really, really make things for the consumer rather than for themselves. And I'll be really honest, One thing that I really hate, probably the biggest thing I hate about the music industry, and probably art as a whole, is that there's almost a preference for an artist to be an egotist than a business person. You know, I've come across so many artists, talented artists, not so talented artists, artists with a whole bunch of grind, and artists with not that much grind at all. And a common thread will be that you're talking about my art, my music. I put myself into this music, and they really make the music embody who they are, which is, in my opinion, the wrong thing to do. The end result is always that you're creating a product, and that product can be used either as a standalone product. You're selling physical copies of CDs or merchandise from your store, or you're selling digital crap. At the end of the day, no one wants to buy you. They want to buy the lifestyle that you embody. Or if you were to talk about toys, they want to buy the feeling, the nostalgia that they get from grabbing a toy and being instantly pulled back into that warm, fuzzy feeling that they had back in the 90s when they were watching X-Men, the cartoon series on VHS that they got from Pizza Hut for their promotion or whatever. You know, there's a certain structure to the game that is almost like pulling teeth to get some people to understand. And that's not me complaining about that. It's just me stating that and hoping that any artist out there or any would-be business person out there who wants to come up and really get some cash in this game, get some status in this game, they understand that there's only two ways that you're going to build a movement. Either from the ground floor or hop your small fish ass about the small pond and jump into the big lake and put the muscle on your arm. That's it. And in many cases, if you're in a...
Eat your damn food. Oh, go ahead, man.
Oh, no, I was going to let you go ahead and finish what you were saying.
No, all I said is just eat your Wheaties. You jump off in the big, because that's what I did. I jumped into the world. I jumped to the world market. To the world market. I regularly, send my photo bucket links and whatnot to the big blogs, even if they don't post, even when it's a whole line of bigger people than me. One particular one, they post with me regularly because they want me to do customs. They want me to custom out their figures. Because some things that may aid you, but you need to arm up. You need to muscle up. You need to arm up. You need to come to the game by doing something that nobody else is doing. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds corny, but in some regard, part of what you do, it has very well at industry standard. If you're doing arm to the teeth, you shouldn't even try to step off in this until you're industry standard. I see toys all the time. Garbage. The photos be garbage. The sculpting is off. You can always, because we've been trained from day one, the professional eye, and the simple fact being is, doggone it, you see industry standard everywhere you look, every package that you look, every professional album cover you pick up, every single thing that you deal with and interact with is industry standard in most cases. So your eye knows it. So and your ear knows it, and your everything, your whole sensory perception knows what's good and what's everything else. What's industry, and really, quite frankly, it's industry standard and everything else. That's how it goes. Hey, I put stuff out I made sure I step my game up, systematically step my game up every single time. Need not apply. If you're not industry standard or bringing something different that looks industry standard, you need not apply to any industry. Whether you go to school, whether you sit and toil away for years or whatever you do, I mean, that's it. Come armed to the teeth. Better be a mercenary king. And I'm plugging like a game. That's like an indie game. You better be a mercenary king. You better come to the game. You better come to the game strapped. You better come to the game with the auto cam and the M4 all decked out. You understand? The solid eye, radar. You understand? And most people don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't care. My obscure Metal Gear reference. But basically, you have to come and be able to change your skin and change your skin, change your teeth, change the way you hunt. It's like that. Like the industry, and all of these industries, whether it be design, whether it be music, whether it be light and sound, it's all the same. You have to be able to change in 2 seconds, like change how you do something in 2 seconds and apply it to what you already do well. Or same result. Quality control, if that ain't nothing else. Take an extra day, like before you release something, and get it to other ears, get it to other eyes, get it to other hands, and make sure it is what you think it is. And ask their honest opinion, what's wrong with this, what's right with this, and make sure you have your best foot forward. I'm done for now, I guess. You there, brother?
Yeah. My phone's kind of going in and out. Pardon me, I was seem lost for distance. I'm rocking with you. It's just that I'm soaking in what you're saying, and also I got phone issues right now. But absolutely, if you're not putting together industry standard material, then you're not really wanting to play at the top level. And I say that because of this. Say that you're a rapper coming up in the game, and you can't afford to go to a high-dollar recording studio. Well, then you build your own studio. Personally, I'm against that, but if that's what you got to do to get into the game, then do it. Because you'll learn what you need to know.
Yeah. Can I interject something on that right quick? I definitely don't want to, if you're on your flow, just continue. I don't want to, but just
go ahead, jump in there.
Just briefly on that, just when you said build your own studio, let me tell you something, man. Getting into like a major industry in any form is basically like, it's the difference between a mobile suit and a Gundam, okay? It's the difference between a regular pilot and a new type. The simple fact is, if you're not a new type, or as in if you don't have all the latest equipment, that means that you're going to have to adapt whatever you have and manipulate technology to get something that's considered good, near, or at industry standard. Whether it's excelling what you do. It's just like a rapper that may have a mediocre setup, and he gets some type of online freeware BitTorrent version of something to, when he's sweetening his album, sweetening his mixtape, so that the sound quality is as best as it can be. Even with me, when I did use like cheap paint to paint my pieces, to know that I have to invest in a very good scratch guard, because cheap paint chips and peels really easy. But I can make whatever you give me, whatever supplies you give me, I can make it look good and make it durable. Whatever you have to be the master manipulator of it. Just like a giant robot, you have to be a master manipulator of whatever you have and be smart enough to learn what's applicable Do you know how many people are making mixtapes, basically recording their voice using their iPhone? Remember, the generation. This is why it's a quickening right now, and I'm not trying to take over the show, but it's definitely a quickening because now you have tablets, iPhones, everything. That once things went digital, once everything went digital and have a good digital recorder, you can conceivably make a industry standard or near or at or just good sound quality within common sense. It's like that common sense eye for the layman to say, oh, this is good, this is high quality. And it's something that you can shoot to, an exec or whatever so they can listen to what you do. And everything is going fast, y'all. People are making mixtapes, 10-minute mixtapes, using their iPhone to record their voice. Okay? We're in the age where people make mixtapes overnight. We're in the age where people do stuff literally overnight. And you have to heed, you have to move with speed and in depth. You have to come with something every week at least. That's, Hood Internet, they release a song every week, 1 or 2 songs every single week, because they develop their style to the point that it's easy. If you're still taking 1,000 years to do something, this is not in the age of taking 1,000 years. The only time you take that long is when you're tempering your style. After you know, and you have to do massive amounts of experimentation. I've said this a million times to find out what your style is. And then you got to focus and lean on it. And where is this applicable in my industry of choice? And what do I need to manipulate to make it accepted in my industry? So I don't want to, continue, brother. I don't want to.
No, you very much said what I was going to say. So much so that I don't have too much else to add to it. You have to experiment. You have to take the time while you're on the independent circuit to slowly not only find out who you are as an artist, but also find out the best way to communicate to your audience. And like you said, if you're releasing a song every week, every song isn't going to be a hit out of the park. But each song will build name recognition and make it easier for you to slide back into that same pocket later on. Lil B didn't happen overnight. Riff Raff didn't happen overnight. Currency didn't happen overnight. Wiz Khalifa didn't happen overnight. Jay-Z didn't happen overnight. He came up in a different era, but the grind is still the same.
The grind is still the same. The grind just went on the internet, man.
Absolutely.
It's no different.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank y'all for listening. If you like it, leave some comments. Let us know what we could do better next time, if you even want it next time. But until then, it's your boy Chucky Hams.
Chucky Hams. That's an interesting name. You got a plug? You got anywhere where they can find you?
Nah, I don't have any plugs right now. Maybe next time around.
Yeah, you get a website. You still got your website? Yes? Which
No.
is pretty dope.
No, I moved around. Working on stuff in the back end, but I'll have something for them.
I did have you bookmarked, by the way, so that really hurts my feelings. But anyway,
I appreciate it.
yeah, you can, find